Hey, buddy, Crow here. And recently I was at the Pinball Expo that ran from October 27th through the 30th, 2021. I only went on the 30th. And before I go any further, what this video is going to be, it's going to be my commentary over footage that I took at the event. There's going to be a walkthrough, and then we'll focus on pinball machines later. There will be a version, an unlisted version of this video up if you're interested in that. The link to that will be in the description below. But as we're walking through here, firstly, there's Walter Day. I did not know he was going to be there. And also Brian Colin. If I would have known those guys were going to be there, I probably would have brought stuff for them to sign, especially like Brian Colin, because I always bring something for him to sign whenever he's in an event. Also, they had this whole video game section set up. They had a video game section at the last Pinball Expo in 2019. But this time it was much bigger. You see, it was more like what we would see at Midwest Gaming Classic, although not to that extent. And back there, you could kind of see that there was Brian Colin. And there were a whole bunch of other people there that I had no idea were going to be there. And if you've seen my Video Game Summit video, you would have seen that these kind of consoleized arcade machines kind of deal from Arcade 816 were there as well. This booth in particular that you saw with all the Funko Pops, I saw that at the Video Game Summit as well. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff right at front loaded at the beginning of this video. But yeah, right now what we're looking at are like the pinball machines that people would have brought to the show. Sometimes they just bring it in for people to play and to get free access to the expo itself. But also, some people just want to sell it, and they'll put like a little tag on there saying, "Hey, this is for sale. This is the asking price, or make me an offer," or something like that. So yeah, and then over here, I mean, Galloping Ghost was here. These are all the arcade machines from Galloping Ghost. That Death Stalker there, that's like a one of a kind. Is it Death Stalker or something like that? It's a weird FMV game. And if we're panning over here, there's the one of a kind Beavis and Butthead game that they brought here as well. You might catch a glimpse of Doc Mac in this video as well. He was there. He's right there. I think this is, oh yeah, you can kind of see him. We're kind of approaching. But they brought all these machines. And I think maybe 2019 was maybe the first year they started bringing arcade machines. But this year, they just brought a lot more than they brought in the 2019. And here we have more machines that people have brought, and more arcade machines. And just in general, the whole thing seemed to be way bigger than it has in years past. And that's primarily because they moved locations. Here's the two-player joust game. Also, this booth also had the Rat Race, which is another head-to-head game, not necessarily pinball. You can see you got the joysticks there. But yeah, they had moved. This is the first year it's in the Schaumburg. It's like the Renaissance Hotel in Schaumburg. They actually have a dedicated convention hall at this location. So instead of in the old location that was in Wheeling, I can't remember, I think it was like the Embassy or something like that, which is where it was, where everything was kind of broken out into different rooms. So you had to go room to room to room or whatever. And even, no, actually I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, some of them had like little areas you had to go inside a little door. It just was like a whole lot of checking bracelets going in and out of different rooms. Whereas here, basically you walked in and it's like they had basically like almost like two rooms combined together with a barrier like taken away in the middle, and there was just a lot there, and a lot more roomier, and that's really a good thing considering, you know, pandemic and everything. Everybody was able to keep their distance, even, you know, more so than in other years. But again, these are just more machines that we've been looking at that people have brought in. And so, yeah, and, you know, you can just walk up, play any of them if they are working. Of course, these things have a tendency to stop working, and then they've got to go and kind of fix them up before anybody can. There's Out of Order, Revenge from Mars, I guess. They're the Whirlwind, I think Indiana Jones. Is that the Stern one, or I can't remember which one that was. I didn't play it. I was more focused on other stuff. Again, we're just looking at the area in which people have brought their own games. We'll get to the area where like Stern and Jersey Jack and Chicago Gaming and American Pinball all brought their machines. And I think you'll see like so many Godzilla machines coming up, and that's one of the things I really wanted to play. So we'll see plenty of that. Here are some Jersey Jack machines. I think they may have brought these here. They weren't in the Jersey Jack section, which I found odd. But so I'm assuming that Jersey Jack brought these because he gets like one of each their machines, including the most recent Guns N' Roses. We'll see a little bit of footage of that near closer to the end of the video. But there's a Black Knight 2000. There were a couple of those there that and they always had the volume pumped up as it should be, because that game has an awesome soundtrack. F-14 Tomcat, which is great. There's a Terminator 3. I got a lot of older machines here too. AEM machines. There's an 8-ball. Fireball, that kind of pops up a lot, seemingly on Craigslist. Like it's just like a for home use machine. It doesn't take coins or anything. Vector, and I don't know why there's an Asteroids machine just sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. Whodunit, Corvette. Again, just a lot of stuff. And this is just one of the rooms. There's another part of it that's just as big, where all the the major vendors were and stuff. And there's a Space Jam and a Batman. Bowling Queen. Oh, Spider-Man. I actually had stopped and played this one a bit. I kind of like this one. So, stopped and continued. There's Firepower and Pistol Poker, Dracula. Of course, I'm just, spouting off whatever I see here. Coming back the other way, Vampire. Again, some of these machines I never even heard of before. And it's, typically something that happens every time I go to a Pinball Expo. There's always something I haven't seen before. The Williams Fire, that's a fun machine. Again, these are custom, I guess, football games. Somebody must have really liked the Browns, but you could pretty much customize those with any football team you'd want. There's a Jackbox. I didn't even really notice that, really, except just now my footage that I'm looking at, the Vacation, the really cheap Vacation machine. Lethal Weapon 3, another Firepower. And then next to that, we've got 4 Killer Queen arcade machines. This was actually ported to the Switch and Steam a couple of years ago, maybe. But this is a great multiplayer game, and they had like a tournament going on here. So you see they're just watching. I'm not going to go into what Killer Queen is too much, but basically there's like 3 ways to win the game. So you got to watch all 3 things that your opponent, so your opponent doesn't get away with one of the things while you're not paying attention. So I had 4 of those there. And actually I skipped over like the entrance part because I got much better shots of this stuff coming back the other way. But this is actually walking towards the entrance. There's a Asteroid. Annie and the Aliens had to stop because that one looked really interesting. I'd never heard of that one. I might have played that one before. It looked kind of familiar. There's a Doctor Who, one of my favorites. Fireball. But yeah, we're coming closer and closer to the entrance. And I kind of, I had footage of me walking in. But, this footage is much better, and it would have been redundant, I think. Hot Wheels, we'll see some of that later. Another F-14 Tomcat. Another Black Knight 2000. And this is what you would have seen as soon as you walked in. So, again, we're coming the other way. There's this vendor here. He was selling all these table parts, just play fields and just pieces of this and that. I bought like a part of a bar, like one of those that you just saw on the table briefly. I bought one of those just because I wonder if I can modify that to be part of my custom arcade controller. Just seeing if I could do that. There was some weird, interesting artwork there. I bought something from there in the past, another vendor with pieces and stuff like that. And there were just some basic vendors here. I don't even know. This is it's a University of Cincinnati. I wasn't even sure what this pinball mechanic is something or other was. Easy pinball. And then apparently there was this booth here. Everything must go. I can imagine that earlier in like Thursday to Friday, they had a lot more that they were getting rid of. Had to stop and look at this specifically because it was pretty interesting, these light up flippers. And I had considered it, and I was like, nah, do I really want to replace the flippers in my Star Trek with that? This booth, the Holy Grail, lots and lots of video games. I didn't really stop and look. I wasn't really interested in video games at this day. I just really wanted to look at the pinball stuff. And here's some Godzilla again. Tilt Amusements. Tons of Godzillas everywhere in this place. Godzilla was king of the show. I think that might be the title I'm going to use for this video, because there's so many Godzillas in this, and there's the Beatles at this show. And it was, and to be fair, it is Stern's most recent pinball machine. Oh yeah, they had the here's how things work interactive display, and then there's okay, you got this thing here. It's just okay. Pop the solenoid, see how it works. But just to the right, I'm going to show briefly here. We've got it's a back box that has been modified to work like a normal clock. So if we kind of scroll over there we go. I'll zoom in on this display here, but when we look up, you'll see on the score display was the current time. So it was 2:52 at that time. So that was pretty cool. That way they turned that into an interactive clock. Well, not really interactive clock, but a clock in general. Again, I bought some stuff over here. What I really needed was some pinballs. So I bought some pinballs. And now that I think about it, the booth I spent the most money at, I didn't even film, now that I think about it. But I bought like a Stern pinball jersey, and a player mat that you could sit in front of a pinball machine that kind of, is easy to stand on. You can stand on it for long periods of time without hurting your feet. So, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So I spent that. There's a Space Invaders Frenzy. So that was interesting. That was there. Some psycho colored back box displays or whatever you could have bought there. For like $100 plus, 120. You can see. Well, those were just the translights. And I think about it. Another booth that just pinball related stuff. And I was going to say something and I completely forgot. Oh yeah, we'll see a lot of Godzillas, but yeah, that Godzilla was definitely my favorite game of the show. We played that again and again. Here's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Hot Wheels. Oh, the Skillshot FX. They were kind of featured in Zen Studios' last pinball show. And I was going to do a reaction video to that, but I did it, and my microphone wasn't working, so I was like, screw it, I'm not going to do it. But those things are like $9,000 each, and for that price, you could buy a brand new premium Godzilla machine. So I think I'd rather go with that. Over in this section, we've got kind of like a homebrew or homemade pinball kind of stuff, home modified. Just somebody kind of messing around. So we got some interesting things there. You saw like a Metroid pinball. Here's a Ghost in the Shell pinball. Kind of, just people like tinkering with, making their own pinball machines in their spare time. Total Nuclear Annihilation is a regular pinball machine. I don't know if that was modified in some way. Right now, what we're looking at is just the Stern area. So I kind of got an overhead of that. Here's some Stern pinball. They had them in a circular, so there was a lot of room to walk around. Mandalorian, Deadpool, Avengers, Iron Maiden, Jurassic Park. We might have passed it by, but the home pin Jurassic Park was there as well. The one that was designed by Jack Danger. I totally didn't even realize it till that's what it was until later in the evening, and I just didn't wait in line to play it. But we will see some footage of Aerosmith and Elvira here, and some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That'll be coming up later in the video. Just kind of want to get some overview. Plenty of Godzilla machines. We're gonna see some footage of a premium and a pro. Led Zepplin, which I completely had forgotten about, which was also released right before Godzilla, earlier in 2021, late 2020. We'll see some footage of that as well. I completely forgot about that machine, so it was pretty interesting to play that as well. What else are we gonna see? We're gonna have to cut over to, there we go, more Aerosmith, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we're jumping over to Jersey Jack Pinball. This is their section, aside from the machines that were in the other area. But they were really focusing on Guns N' Roses, their latest table here. We'll see a little bit of footage of that. Also a little bit of footage of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory I got. And then over kind of in the back area, they had more Guns N' Roses machine kind of hidden. So that's actually where I think we wound up playing this. We basically had... very rarely was a machine open that we could just jump on. You basically had to wait in line to play something. And Chicago Gaming was focusing on their Cactus Canyon kind of remastering. If you're familiar with Cactus Canyon, that was the last pinball machine Williams was working on before they jumped to Pinball 2000. So they kind of cut work on Cactus Canyon early, and it's like almost bare bones. It's not barely finished. So they kind of finished that up, put a better display in there, kind of updated circuitry, just like they did with Attack from Mars and Monster Bash. Those are all remakes. Those are not originals. Kind of a little bit further back view from Chicago gaming area. Coming up after this is the American Pinball area. We'll see footage of all of these machines here. The Legends of Valhalla, which I think is their most recent one, Hot Wheels, and Houdini. Houdini, I think, might have been. Oh, they had Oktoberfest too, but they didn't have an Oktoberfest here. And also, speaking of machines that weren't there, I was kind of surprised that I didn't see Stranger Things from Stern there. All right, so here we're going to start by looking a little bit closer at some of the tables. And I played Godzilla the most, as I think I mentioned before. There were a lot of them there, and really it was the one thing I wanted to play because I did a reaction video to the video that Stern put out maybe a few weeks ago, and I said, I really want to play this. It looks awesome, and you know what? It is awesome. This table is awesome. If I had $9,000 in my pocket, I would buy one of these for sure. If somebody wants to trade for $9,000 my Pinball Machines or Godzilla Premium, I'd do that. But yeah, just the footage of Godzilla they had on the display and the way the game played, I thought was fantastic. The audio and everything, which you're not really going to even hear, even in the version of this video without the commentary, because the hall was so big, you could barely, all you heard was echoing everywhere. You could kind of make out the audio and stuff, but it's not clear as day or anything. But yeah, you got the premium version, which had the 3D, the mold Godzilla. The building kind of goes up and down. You got the magnet grip there, which is actually in both versions. But then you got Mecha Godzilla on the other side there. I know we'll zoom in a little bit on some of the stuff here. But yeah, this game was just fantastic. Shooting it up there, and then the building goes up and down, and that's what reroutes the ball through. See, my turn was actually before this when I was filming, and I actually locked the two balls, which is why on the roof there you can kind of see the balls on the roof of the building, which is why when this player was playing, they didn't, the ball wasn't actually getting locked up there. Oh yeah, and the ball sticks to Mecha Godzilla, and then he goes into his second mode where you have to break the barrier down. You break the barrier down, and then you hit him again, and that's like a Mecha Godzilla multi-ball, and that's fantastic as well. And then when you do get multi-ball, Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult plays, and it's the perfect place to put that song. There we are, zooming in a little bit on the Godzilla there. You got the bridge as well. The bridge will break when it's destroyed. Pretty cool. And that flipper I didn't realize was kind of floating out in the middle of nowhere, and it works. It works very well because it'll come down and do that. Here's another angle of Mecha Godzilla. And again, I kept showing footage on the screen because I thought the footage that they had in the game was just fantastic. Actually, makes me want to go watch those older Godzilla movies. There's an even closer view. And then this is, I think, during the Mecha Godzilla multi-ball here. So we see a little bit of multi-ball going on. And yeah, just the action on the screen. Oh, before I forget, I should mention that this is the first time I actually used that Stern Insight Stern or whatever, Stern Insider. I don't know why I couldn't think of it. So you basically make an account and you get a QR code. And before you play, you basically show the machine your QR code. There's a little sensor there near the plunger, and basically logs you in, and it actually keeps track of your achievements and everything on the website, your highest scores and everything, what machine you've played and when. It is great that there you go. You just see an achievement pop up on the screen there. So, I mean, yeah, you could just, it's so weird that they managed to, that the Nintendo Switch does not have achievements, but now they have achievements in pinball games. You would have thought that it would have happened first for the Switch, but no. Oh, actually, here we're looking at the Pro version. So instead of the 3D models, you get like these flat, almost cardboard cutout versions of Mecha Godzilla. The building doesn't go up and down. I mean, it's still fun, but it's not as fun. I mean, it's a little bit off when you hear the narrator on the in the game going, the building is being destroyed, and it doesn't move. Where in the premium one, it goes up and down. There's the cardboard cutout Godzilla. As you can see, the bridge doesn't exist in this version either. I mean, oh man, I just think it's, if you had to choose, I would say, spend an extra $2,000 and get the premium version. But I will say that they did have a raffle in the show, and they were raffling off a Godzilla Pro. And of course, I entered it. I would be happy with a Godzilla Pro for free, but yeah, I did not win. Here's Led Zepplin. This is the one I completely had forgotten about. It's like, wow, I completely forgot about this machine. So when we waited to play this, and this is the premium version. The Pro version, I don't think, has the Zepplin. It doesn't have a thing in the middle. I'll point it out when it comes up. It's going to be right hereabouts. Yep, it pops up. The Pro version does not have that, so that's pretty cool. That the spinner actually pops up from the middle. It actually holds the ball there too, as you can see, and just it collapses it back down into the table. Later, we'll see it come back up. And I think it's the kind of thing where if you hit it in a limited amount of time, you might get 3-ball multi-ball, but if time runs out, you just wind up with 2-ball multi-ball. That's just my guess. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. The reason I think that's the way it works is this game was designed by Steve Ritchie. He also designed My Stern Star Trek, and there's a similar mechanism involved in that, where the Vengeance ship will hold the ball, and you have a certain amount of time to hit that ball out of the Vengeance. And if you do it, you get 3-ball multi-ball, and if you don't, the ball just lets loose and you wind up with 2-ball multi-ball. So that's why I'm just assuming that's the way it works here. So yeah, just saw it wasn't hit and it just let loose, and it's just 2-ball multi-ball. Again, I'm not a big Led Zeppelin fan or anything, so I can't really speak to how that works with the theme. Of course, we had to play the Mandalorian. This one I did a reaction video for too, and I don't really know if I was playing the Pro or the Premium of this. I think this is the Pro. Hang on a second, I gotta check. Yeah, I just checked, and this is definitely the Pro version. And the reason I thought it was the Pro is because you got the plastic returns coming back. And actually, I found that to be very distracting. It really kind of blurred like what was below them. You didn't see directly right through them. It kind of made everything blurry. So just for that reason, I would think that the premium version would be much better. Unfortunately, I don't know if there may have been a premium version there. I don't really know 100% for sure, because I think there might have been one other one, but I didn't get a good look at it. I didn't think about it. I just waited to play this one, and it's okay. Maybe the premium is much better. Probably is much better. So, but again, it's really interesting to see the footage on the display and everything, especially when you saw the ball save, Grogu, Baby Yoda pulling, doing the thing with the ball. That was really, really interesting that they threw that in there. And of course, even the Pro version has the giant Grogu in the back there. But yeah, I should have looked more for the premium version if that was there, because I didn't think about it at the time. I just played this and thinking, wow, these returns are really blocking and blurring everything on the table. It made it very difficult to shoot for things. Well, that's the way I felt, and I think with the wire returns, it would be much better. Here's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Didn't play this one before either. This is a premium, I believe, and we have the pizza spinner there. Whoever was playing this had multi-ball at the time. We'll see a little bit of stuff there. But yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't too interested in playing this one. But after I did, I was glad I did, because I just want to play it because I hadn't played it. But yeah, this one was pretty damn fun as well. I mean, when I played, I made one shot and I just basically hit the turtle van right off the bat, and bam, multi-ball. And you can see it was way more than 3-ball multi-ball. And here's a close-up on the turtle van. And the thing that Raphael is in, the flying thing or whatever, that winds up being a diverter, I believe, that redirects the ball one way or the other. We'll see some more little features. There we go. In this angle, and you got the pizza spinner. That kind of also you don't see it in this footage, but you saw the little thing there move too. But the in the pizza thing, the magnet will hold the ball in the middle, and then other balls will get attached to it and spin right off. I had to zoom in there on Krang there because that was an awesome little toy. He kind of glows and jumps up and down, I think. And again, the animations on the back box were good, but not fantastic. I mean, nothing beat Godzilla for a fact. And here's Elvira's House of Horrors. I kind of showed this in my last Pinball Expo video because they had a lot of them at the last time, because one, Cassandra Peters, was it Peterson or Peter? Cassandra Peters, the person who plays Elvira, was there in person, and it was Stern's most recent machine, so they had a ton of them. So yeah, and also they have this one at Galloping Ghost. They have all 3 Elvira machines at Galloping Ghost, so I kind of played this one a bit. And so I only played it once here, and the reason I did it is just so I can scan my insider thing and check that out too. But I kind of wanted to play almost everything, and I did not play everything, but I played as much as I kind of wanted to. But yeah, this would be a machine that I wouldn't mind having as well. Not because of the layout, but just because of all the cheesy movie references and everything. I mean, you got The Brain That Wouldn't Die, you've got Manos, The Hands of Fate, Teenagers from Outer Space, all referenced in this machine. Even Torgo is on the back box, and how great is that? And I think this was the premium version because you got the different lights on the house. We'll see it change colors. It's purple right now, but yeah, depending on what mode you're in or whatnot, it will, like, there you go, now it's green, flashing green. And now here's Black Knight Sword of Rage. They may have had 1 or 2 here. The one that I was playing here was the Pro version. And honestly, I like the audio visual aspect of, just the audio, sound effects and everything, and what's going on the screen kind of way more than the table itself. But you know what? It is a fun table. The difference between the Pro version and the premium version is that the premium version actually has a second level farther in the back, and they got rid of that whole second level for the Pro version, the cheaper version. But you still got the Black Knight, and he's swinging his club around, knocking your ball back from going into that area. Oh, I think it spins the other way, and then they'll get shot through and accelerate. It's a pretty interesting table. Not a fan favorite, though, I think. Again, here's Aerosmith. This one's been out for quite a while. I think it's Stern's second table with just a screen display right after Batman. And I don't think I've ever played this one before. It's always had a crowd around it. So I made sure to stick around and watch this one. I'm not a big fan of Aerosmith or anything, so the theme doesn't really grab me. But what I thought was pretty cool, and I had no idea, as we'll see shortly here, is the ball's going to come around. We're going to shoot. Okay, well, when is this part coming up here? The ball locks are pretty interesting. Here it goes. And it kind of screwed up here because the chest closed before it shot the ball into the chest, and it just wound up hitting the jester in the face. I don't know if it was done like that on purpose or there was some sort of error, but here's how it's supposed to look. The chest is open, the ball shoots into it, and it's closed. And the bobblehead on the jester really makes it interesting. And then when you do get all 3 balls locked, they come out of the chest. They don't go shooting out, they just kind of rolls out and plops out. But yeah, a really cool feature of that table. Now we're going over to the Jersey Jack tables. This is Guns N' Roses. I honestly only played 1 game of it because, I don't know, I didn't really find it that interesting. I'm not into Guns N' Roses at all, so I don't really get any of the references on the table or anything. And again, there's just a lot of stuff on this table, almost too much stuff. Look at that, like, left half of the board. You've got the guitar, like, strings and everything. So it was pretty hard to figure out what to hit or what to shoot for. I'm sure, if I were to play this again and again, it would make more sense. But, it's kind of a little overwhelming the first time you play it. And that's kind of where I am at now, because I just wanted to play it once. All right, we're moving on to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I've played this once before, so I had to give it another shot. And I think I did a little bit better than I did before. I might actually have footage of this from the previous Pinball Expo, which was 2019. But I think this is a pretty popular Jersey Jack game. In fact, it might be my second favorite now that I think about it. I think Dialed In is definitely my favorite, but this one is definitely a second favorite of mine, even though I haven't really played it that much. I like how it's got the Wonka vision thing in the back where it's Mike TV. There's the everlasting gobstopper, and then the Mike TV or whatever. And again, lots of great clips that they pull from the movie. But yeah, I'm not too in depth of what goes on in this table. I've only played it twice, 3 times at max. But yeah, so I don't really know the rules. I just like hitting the ball around and seeing what happens, watching other people play as well. So that's the extent of what I know about this table. Again, great clips from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So if you really like the movie, I'm sure you probably really, really want this machine. So yeah, I don't know if I really have much more to say about this one. Oh, while I'm talking about Jersey Jack also had their own online thing for keeping track of your scores. I didn't sign. It's called Scorebit or something. I didn't really sign up for it or anything, but just thought wanted to mention it was there. This is Cactus Canyon, the Chicago gaming remake. Upgraded DMD display, upgraded, code, even finished code, in fact. So again, gunfights and everything. Pretty cool table. The first time I ever played this was in Pinball Arcade, and they of course had the unfinished version. Now I've already seen, or not seen, but seen and played Cactus Canyon Continued, which is a upgraded ROM for the original game. So it had things like Cowboys versus Aliens and, Drunken Multi-Ball, I think it was called, where the flippers are reversed. I don't know if any of that stuff is actually in this version or if this is actually Cactus Canyon Continued, but it definitely is an upgrade from the original Cactus Canyon. You got the train, you've got the gunfights with the villains over there. I actually was fighting up to Mecha Bart, but we're already jumping over to American Pinball here. I think this is their most recent machine, the Legends of Valhalla. It's actually a pretty cool machine, but the display of what goes on the monitor on the back box is kind of bare bones. It's just still images for the most part that move around. But honestly, is that really important for a pinball game? The game plays great, I think, and the audio is fantastic on it. Here we are. You have to select who you're gonna fight. So this person is gonna. He was just cycling through some of what he was gonna fight, and he's selecting this. But yeah, the great light show on this table and great audio. Unfortunately, because of the hall and everything, you don't really get to hear it that much. In fact, that was the only downside to the Pinball Expo here, is that very few of the machines you could actually hear the machine. If you were playing this like at home or in an environment where you really didn't hear anything else and the volume was turned up, I'm sure you get a totally different experience. And but we even heard this one over all the other machines. And it's just a booming table. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But and it is American Pinball most recent machine. We're gonna move over. I don't know how much more footage I have of this, but yeah, the guy had the multi-ball for quite a while. I'm moving on to Hot Wheels. I was really interested in trying this one. I heard about this one, and just a table themed on the toy cars, and I thought, oh, you know what, that's a pretty good concept. Let's try it out. I mean, the layout almost seems a little bit basic. You've got orbits and ramps, you got the bumpers in the middle, but and exactly the opposite of Legends of Valhalla. The crazy stuff that happens on the screen is what I really like about this game. They have the Hot Wheels cars kind of working in stop motion and everything. I don't even think I got any footage of it, but like I had the Hot Wheels cars versus a Triceratops, where we had to stop the rampaging Triceratops. So it's like a kid's toy room or whatever you're playing in it. And I thought that was hilarious, and all the stop motion people and everything. You get a little bit of stop motion here. But yeah, it's fantastic. And this is the last table we're going to show in the video here. This is Houdini. I've played this one before. I've had footage of this one before, for sure. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. You've got the pop bumpers with the chains that rattle. And every time I play this one, I see something new in it. And this time it was what I had to escape from the straitjacket. And to do so, you had to play with inverted and reversed flippers, which means that holding the flippers in kept them down and releasing them, it's like hitting the button. So it's like reverse. You have to hold the buttons down when you want to flip, you let go. And not only that, but it's reversed. So left was right and right was left. So that was very difficult. And you have to do it during multi-ball too. So, just wrapping your mind around that is just, it's like a perfect thing for trying to escape from a straitjacket. Perfect for a Houdini table. But, there's really not much more for me to say. It was a great time. We got the animation of the hand over it, pulling it out of my hat. But yeah, I had a really good time at the Pinball Expo. Again, I didn't really pick up very much stuff, just pinballs, a jersey, Stern Pinball hockey jersey, and a mat for my for standing in front of my pinball machine. So I only spent like maybe $150 while I was there the entire day. So, which was a lot less than I thought I was going to spend. So we'll leave it at that. We'll just end it here, and I'll see you next time.